This week's extra credit chart is called a histogram, and we're going to be doing that under our EX03. If you'll go to week 7 and select the EX03 Wingate form, you will see the file pop up here. Just a second. It'll be wingate.xlsx. If you've not started this assignment, go ahead and open that now and save it again as EX03 Wingate form, first name, last name. I've already completed my file and I'm going to pull that up for purposes of example today. You'll see we have several tabs here from documentation through growth, explanation of formulas. Before we can do the histogram, we need to add some additional functionality to Excel. Let's start with that now. If you'll click on your File tab, we're going to go to the Backstage view, come down here to your Options pick, click on that, and then come down the list of the menu, come to Add-ins, and go ahead and select that. Some of your other professors may ask you to do add-ins for additional functionality for their courses as well. The very first inactive application add-in is the Analysis Tool Pack, and we'll go ahead and add that right now. If you go ahead and click on the Go, we're going to come up here to the very top of the list. Make sure your Analysis Tool Pack has a check mark beside it and click OK. Now let's check and see if that works. Coming back to your Excel sheet, click on your Data tab, and you should see the Data Analysis pick over on the far right. If not, the addition of the add-in was not successful, and you'll need to go back and start again. Now let's go ahead and get to work here on our histogram chart. First thing I'm going to do will be to add an additional tab for a new sheet at the bottom. So let's go ahead and click on that plus sign. It'll say sheet 1, and I've renamed mine histogram, as you should too. Let me go ahead and click on that. I've already done a little bit of start ahead here to get you to see what we're going to be doing. We're going to go ahead and come up here to your A1, add your average height for the American male, and then we're going to come over here to A2, we're going to type in average or mean, and then for number 3, under A, we're going to abbreviate a standard deviation. In order to be able to do a histogram, which is basically an analysis of a group of numbers, we need both an average and a standard deviation. The average height for the American male is 5'9", and this is the same as 69 inches. So go ahead and type 69 into B2. Your standard deviation for the American height, the average height of the American male, happens to be 3 according to my web sources. Next, what we're going to do is come to E1. We're going to type in input range. So these are the numbers we're going to use on the American height, a male height. And what we're going to do is we're going to randomly generate a bunch of numbers that will represent various heights. If you'll come up here to the Data Analysis pick that we've added and click that, type the letter R. It'll take you to random number generation. Click on OK. We are going to fill in this little pop-up box. Our number of variables that we are going to have is only 1 for the American male height, the average, and the number of random numbers that we need will be 5,000. We're going to generate those numbers right here. The distribution for this exercise will be normal, and then our mean will be 69 as we've indicated here. Our standard deviation will be 3. So go ahead and fill in those numbers. Next thing what we're going to do is we are going to select our output range. Our output range will start with E2. If you'll type in the E2 here and then select OK. This will go ahead and generate 5,000 different heights for the American male. Your numbers may not look exactly like mine. Remember, this is random number generation, but basically we will be able to develop the same chart. If you'll notice, most of the numbers here are in the 60s and 70s. So what we're going to do on G1 is we're going to develop column headings. We'll type in bin range here. Our bins will basically be groupings of various heights. We'll start with 60 inches in G2, and in G3 we'll type in 62. By selecting both of those numbers, we're going to use the autofill to select our headings from 60 to 80. Go ahead and put your cursor on the fill handle and drag it down till it indicates we've reached the number 80. Release your left button and we've got our column headings now developed. Lastly, we're ready to do our histogram. Come up to data analysis one more time. Type H for histogram. Click on OK. And now what we're going to do is we are going to select our input range. This will be defined by this column here. Let's go ahead and type in E1, colon to indicate a range, E5001. This will get all of our numbers in the column. Next, we were going to do our bin range. Remember, these are the column headers. We will type in G1, colon, G12. Lastly, we're going to select our output range. I'm going to go ahead and select K10 for this. It doesn't really matter so much as long as we don't place our information on top of what we've already written here in the sheet. You will notice that both the bin range and the output range have column headings, so are labels. So make sure you check the labels box. And at the very bottom, we've got chart output. Make sure that is checked as well, or we won't come up with a chart. If all of your selections look like this, we are ready to proceed. Go ahead and click on OK. And we will go ahead and get our histogram created for us automatically. I'm going to resize it here for easier viewing. And also I'm going to come up here to the design under chart tools and select one of these so I get a little bit more information. This basically tells us how many heights occur at these particular numbers. So at 70 inches, I have 1,383 different numbers from this random number generation. Your numbers may not look exactly the same, but the shape of your chart will. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that histogram with the rest of our assignment and submit that for your extra credit. Take care. Have a good week.